Foxtrot Ridge. That was my first battle. We were patrolling near the Laotian border, the mountains there and everything else, and Foxtrot Ridge was actually a resting point for us. We had dug in up on Foxtrot Ridge, and it was at night. Everything was quiet, and then all hell broke loose. I mean, there was just huge explosions. The deal was, they knew we were there, but they didn't know where we were. We were not to fire our rifles, because then they would pinpoint us and come in. The only thing they did was they gave us a bunch of hand grenades. And the elephant grass was so tall, so you can't see. All you can do is listen. So if someone got what we figured was too close, we would throw a hand grenade straight up and let it come down, so they won't know what direction it came from through the elephant grass. And that's the only defense we had. We heard a jet coming. And then we heard a pop. That pop meant to us that something had just been dropped. So when we looked up, we saw these silver canisters coming at us. And we jumped up and started running. It hit this, like it was just sucking all the air out. The heat was bad. My clothes got on fire. I'm stripping off my clothes. The only thing I left that area with was my rifle and my ammunition. We were about to be overran. So the captain had ordered napalm. The napalm was dropped. We waited for a while, and then we retook the hill, charged up the hill and got it back. That firefight, it got rid of the fear, if you will. When the bullets start flying and things start exploding and the confusion and everything else, dust flying all over the place, you focus on what you were trained to do and you'll be okay. But if you're worried about this, that, and the other, you could get hurt or killed. After Foxtrot Ridge, we got a minor break and we went back to the bridge. Now, while we were at the bridge, another Army convoy comes through. They had been ambushed. One of their members fell off the truck. But in that situation, the trucks don't stop. They got to keep going. And we were assigned to go down and get them. So we took a fire team down. We know we're walking into a spot where there is an ambush, or was one. So we know in our mind that they're waiting on us to come and get him. We get to where he fell off the truck, and we see drag marks that went into the bush. So we follow the drag marsh, and then there's just like this little pond, if you will, and we found him sitting there with his back to us, but it didn't feel right. So we searched the area, okay, and felt confident that so far there's no danger. And when we got to him, he had been shot through the neck and he had been propped for an ambush. That ambush was set up for us. When they found out it was the Marines, they canceled the ambush. So we were able to retrieve his body and bring it back. We moved to a village called Mylock. There was one Marine, his name was Raymond Baldoff. We called him Baby Huey. And if you ever watch the cartoons with Baby Huey, big, good heart, but just always seemed to mess up. Well, one night we set up a series of ambushes. I was in charge of that team. and we're walking through the village. It's pitch dark, can't see a thing. And we're spread out about 5 yards apiece. So that made a long line. Huey was on point. All of a sudden it comes to a stop, which is normal. Huey probably noticed something. When I get to the Vietnamese that were behind Huey wasn't there. And I asked him, where is Huey? And he said, VC, VC. And about that time I looked up ahead of me and I can see his shadow, Huey's, and he's turning. And then I see a flash. Under that hut was a Viet Cong. And he had stuck his rifle in Huey's stomach and fired. Huey's laying there and he's yelling and he's screaming. So I started crawling toward him. And I thought he was just delirious. But what he was telling me was, do not come. And then he reached in and he grabbed a flare and he popped it up. And there were an ambush team out there. So I tell him, just lay down, stay there, Huey, don't do anything. And I'm still crawling. But he knew that I was crawling into danger. So he popped another flare. When they did that, they opened fire on him again. And he died. But he risked his life to save mine. When we get back, I tell the lieutenant that he deserved the medal. But we had a new lieutenant, and he'd already caught hell for the ambush that went bad. So, if his relatives are out there, he died a hero without a medal. Lance Corporal Raymond Baldaugh, killed in action, 1969 in Maylock. And I've been trying to write his parents, and every time I do, I just can't finish the letter. I just can't do it. And now it's been so long, you know, I'm thinking even if I write it, I don't want to bring him that pain. Hopefully somebody in his family will see this and know that he died a hero. You asked me about what influence the Marine Corps had on my life. And I said, it enhanced my mother's training. When General Jones invited me to his inauguration as Commandant of the Marine Corps, he invited the whole unit that was on Foxtrot Ridge. And he had us stand up in front of all those cameras with the whole world watching and told the entire Marine Corps that they had to live up to the honor and duty that we have accomplished. And that was the greatest moment in my life.